I'm here with the 2013 Infiniti JX35. We're going to do transmission fluid and filter change. Both of them. Yes, this is the CVT. First step, jacket. I wanted to check the transmission fluid level, pull where the dipstick should be, and there's no dipstick part. I did read that the CVT transmission fluid is corrosive and you shouldn't leave a dipstick in there, so I don't know if there's supposed to be like one you put in or what, but this is ridiculous. Alright, from the front, here I am under the car. Transmission on the driver's side. That's the transmission pan. Gonna zoom under here, and what I see is there's a transmission filter. There's a cooler similar to the video I did on the Ford F-250, the layered unit. So in this video I'm gonna replace the filter behind here. There should be a sump filter. I'm gonna remove this cover just so I can get a view looking in front of the transmission right here. Kind of want to see, you know, this way. All right, we loosen the drain plug. Now we're letting it drain. All right, next I'm going to loosen the pan. There is going to be some fluid still in because this is the low spot, probably where the pickup is for the fluid. This is what it looks like without the oil pan or the transmission oil pan. We're going to remove, where's my finger, this guy and this guy, and I don't know if there's another one, and so we can replace him. I'll also take this off so we can replace the filter. Remove those two bolts I showed you. That's the only thing holding it on, and there's an O-ring that goes in there. This is that sump filter, so you can see the O-ring. In here you can see it's kind of got like a filter material in there. Alright, let's compare the old with the new. This is a Nissan genuine part. Got the same markings there, patent pending. Looks like it's still patent pending 12 years after the make of this car, so who knows if they ever got their patent. Let's open this up and we can look at that filter material. Alright, here's the new one. You can see the filter material used to be white, who knew? Comes with the O-ring, make sure that goes on. I need to push it down a little bit so it doesn't fall off. I'll put a little oil around the O-ring, make sure it seals good, and place it back up in there and retighten the bolts. Okay, here we go, putting the pan filter back in and the pickup. Line that up nice. You can see, and I'll just push it in and align these holes here. There, you can feel it go in, and then it should stay on its own while I get the bolts. Both bolts are the same length, so that's good. I don't have to figure out which one goes where. I'll get those started and then make sure it's still pushed in. Okay, that's somewhat secure. You can see just tightening one pulls it up in there. Just make sure that's good. I'll hand tighten these, don't use your impact, because this is all aluminum threads, they strip easy. You don't want to do that. So I got these bolts secure. Now while I have the pan off, I'm going to pull this off and replace the filter here. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, is there another one? Yeah, 4. To switch to a 10mm deep. So far everything's been metric, everything's been a 10mm too, so hopefully you didn't lose your 10. Alright, we pulled that off. That's the cover, that's the top bolt's the one that's still in there. So it goes like that. There's the filter. I'll pull that guy out and replace him, inspect it, and compare it to the one that's going in. Always a good idea to do that. Alright, here's the filter. Notice that O-ring or that washer, that's the seal that goes between it and the cover, so make sure that goes back on. Yeah, that is a sealing washer because it's flexible. So make sure that goes back on. I'll put it to the side for now. See, this is the side that goes in that I pulled out, so it went in like that. Here's the new filter. It's a Nissan filter. Hopefully it looks like it's the same size. Looks good. Gotta flip it around. So I'm gonna put that guy back in. Make sure you keep it clean. That's what it looks like. I'm going to put a little oil on the seal. I think it's just good practice to do. It's gonna go back in there. We're gonna put the ring that I pulled off back on and put the cover back on. Hope you like transmission fluid running down your arm. Let's see. I did clean out inside here. See, it's nice and clean. It was kind of dirty. I recommend do the same. Remember, we still need the ring. And let's see, I want to see the orientation of how this goes on. Alright, so we got the replacement filter back on, that cover tightened up. So this is the transmission fluid pan. This is the transmission pan. It uses from factory a metal. I'm not sure if that's metal or plastic. It looked like metal at first. It might be a plastic. I'm going to clean this up. These are magnets. Oh, that's how I know this was metal, because it sticks. I thought I remembered this being metal. Okay, so that sticks to the magnets, but look what also sticks to the magnets. All this nasty metals. So we're gonna clean all that off before we put it back on. All right, so we clean the inside of the transmission pan. The magnets do come off, so you gotta use your Kung Fu grip, which I know you guys all have from, Kung Fu. Make sure you put those back on. They were placed right here, as you saw earlier in the video. Note that this is the drain plug, so I got the plug in it, but it is higher than, a lot of the low points, so there is going to be oil still left in your pan when you undo the bolts, which is sort of funny. All right, reinstall the magnets. They do repel each other there. I wonder if there's a way. There we go. So it looks like there's a correct way to install these, because I don't know if you want particles repelling themselves between here. So here they want to stick to each other on the ends, but if you flip it over, it's trying to repel and then swing it around. We're gonna prep this surface. I'm just gonna wipe it. Doesn't look like it had any adhesive on it or anything, so just making sure it's clean. Not sure if it'll make a difference, but it's good practice. All right, so I'm gonna attempt to put 2 bolts in and guide it up, and hopefully everything stays in place. Okay, so here I am trying to tighten the transmission pan bolts. I'm going to use a torque wrench because I don't like to accidentally over tighten stuff and strip it. You know you're a real professional when you can keep oil out of your hair. I just want to point this out. I got this nice snappy-on torque wrench. Well, the logo fell off. So here's my snap-on torque wrench. This is the bottom piece. This is made in USA. I don't know. I guess I'll glue it back on, because you can't have a torque wrench without the bottom logo. Alright, here I'm gonna start torquing these guys down. Probably use somewhat of a crisscross pattern. That way, or maybe I'll tighten one side and then go that way. I think that's what I'll do. Alright, I did 80 inch-pounds on all the transmission bolts. They will strip very easily. So I also ended up ordering these because online it wasn't clear what I needed to use. This looks like, I don't know, the sump filter for some different car. This, I'm not sure where it goes, or if it even goes to this car. So the next thing I'm gonna do, since there's no dipstick, I'm going to measure how much came out and account for half a quart of use and spillage to see how much I can count, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I counted a little more than 5 quarts that came out. So I'm gonna add 5.5 quarts. I really wish this had a dipstick. Nissan, jeez, come on. Got a funnel in place. Let's start adding fluid. Maybe also important, I'm using the Nissan Group NS3 CVT fluid. That's what's recommended. It seems like as fragile as these transmissions are, I'd rather stick to OEM stuff. So, oh yeah, looks like I hit the funnel. All right, so I'm gonna take it for a test drive. I'm going to make sure it shifts well. If all that looks good, then I'm gonna pull it onto the driveway and make sure that it's not leaking. If everything looks good, then I'll call it good to go. All right, so we're on a test drive. Seems to be shifting well, shifting good. This 2013 Infiniti JX35 has 114,000 miles. This is a front wheel drive model. Hope you enjoyed watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.